Hi guys, it's Bridget. Welcome back to my channel. It has been a while since my last video. I ended up taking a bit of a break from Booktube, and in this video I really just want to have a brief conversation about where I've been, why I stopped making videos, and how I'm going to move forward from here. There really isn't like a crazy story that goes along with this, but it just really boils down to the way that Booktube really negatively affected my mental health, and I just sort of went down into this spiral, and it really just brought me to a bad place. And so I had to step back and regroup and try and figure out how I was going to make this work. And in the moment, it is such a lonely feeling to go through that, and you feel like you're the only person on this whole platform, on the whole internet, who is struggling with this and who just can't seem to make it work, and you feel like a failure and you see everyone else succeeding. But you know it's not true. And one of the things that really helped me try and center myself a little bit was watching other people's videos where they talk about their own struggles and things that they did to help kind of get past that. And so I figured I would come on here, I would share my story, try to be a little bit vulnerable with you guys. And if I can help someone feel a little bit less alone through all of this and know that everyone goes through this, and if you don't, what is your secret? So what I wanted to share in this video is, one, to just sort of explain what happened to make me feel like I had to stop making videos, the mistakes that I made leading up to that moment, and then hopefully what I can do moving forward in order to avoid kind of getting into that negative cycle and negative thought process again. So what happened? I think my last video that I filmed was in February, and at the time I was filming a reading vlog over a weekend, and I was reading a new fantasy book, something that I should have loved. It had everything that I wanted in a fantasy book, and I was really enjoying it. However, all I could think about the entire time I was reading this book was, am I getting good angles for my video? Do I have enough to say? Am I saying the right things? Is this even interesting? Do I look okay? Am I gonna finish this in time? Am I making this vlog creative enough? And then I get towards the end of the book, and it should be the best part of the story, the thing you've been waiting for this whole time, this amazing climax of everything coming together. And all I could think about was just getting through it so that I could film a reaction. I could barely keep my eyes open, and I was thinking, oh, I've got to go do my makeup after this. I just need to finish this book. Maybe I should just start skimming. And in that moment, I realized that it wasn't fun anymore. Reading was something that I loved. It was my favorite thing in the world. And I just had this epiphany that I no longer wanted to read. I was getting no joy out of it. And I thought, what is the point of having this platform where I can talk about books if I no longer even enjoy reading them? And this was not the first time that I had this thought. I know that I had it multiple times before that, and I just always kind of pushed it aside and was like, well, I just have to do what I have to do to keep this channel going, and there's a price to pay, but why does that price have to be my love of reading? And so I didn't even really think about it at that moment. The second that realization crossed my mind, I just stopped the vlog. I stopped filming. I was like, I need to take a step back. This is not the point of me doing this. The point was to have a good time and put my thoughts out there and share my love of reading with everyone, not kill myself trying to have something interesting to put out into the world. And honestly, I'm back now because I have been so into reading lately. I have refound that passion that I thought that I lost, which honestly makes me so happy because I was a little bit worried for a while. And there have been so many moments over the last few months where I've just been like, oh my gosh, I wish that I had my channel still because I have so many thoughts about the books that I'm reading. So I did some reflection, and I tried to narrow down what exactly went wrong. What mistakes did I make throughout this process that led me to just shut down and withdraw? The biggest thing that I think became an issue for me was that I let Booktube just take over every aspect of my life. If I was filming, I felt guilty that I wasn't reading. And if I wasn't reading, I felt guilty that I wasn't editing. And when I was editing, I felt guilty that I wasn't engaging and watching people's videos. And when I was on Booktube watching people's videos, I felt guilty that I hadn't posted on Instagram in a week. And it was just this awful cycle of constantly feeling like I couldn't catch up, and that every waking moment of my life had to be dedicated to some aspect of maintaining my channel. And that's just not healthy. you can't live your life that way. And I know for myself, I am a very all or nothing kind of person. Like, I'm very black or white with things, and it's such a downfall of mine. And it's the same way with my channel, where I will make myself post consistently every single week, sometimes 2 times a week. And if I miss a week, I just feel like I want to throw my hands up in the air and say, like, well, what's even the point if I don't post every week? And like, it doesn't have to be that way. And I know that it doesn't now. And I wish I had known this, or like at least given it more thought before just jumping into a channel, that you need to have a manageable schedule. Like, you're gonna burn out if you don't. And that's gonna mean something different to everybody. And I need to realize that what is manageable for one person may not be manageable for me. The next thing that was just hugely damaging to my mental health was focusing on the numbers. Every single person on YouTube, I think, always says, don't focus on the numbers. Don't worry about how many subscribers you have. Don't worry about your view count. All that stuff will come. Just enjoy what you're doing. Just put out content that you're proud of. And like, that's all fine in theory. And I really, really tried to follow that guideline, but it just was not realistic for me. I fell into a hole of analyzing every single number associated with my channel so that it was all I could think of. If I got 1 more subscriber from a video, I would be elated. And if I lost even 1 subscriber, I would just fall into this hole of like despair and self-doubt and feeling like I was just this like horrible failure because 1 person unsubscribed. And it's nonsense. I know that it is, but it is so much easier to tell somebody to not worry about the numbers or not focus on them than it is to actually not focus on them. And so I was refreshing the analytics on my channel constantly. Like, it got to a point where I don't think I could have even gone 5 minutes without refreshing and seeing if I had a view, if I had a new subscriber, if people were commenting, if the duration of what people were watching was longer than the last time. And it was so unhealthy. Honestly, this is the thing that I am the most scared of coming back into this. It's because, you know, you can be so proud of everything you're putting out. You can put all this work into it, but then to see in hard numbers that fewer people are watching, or people didn't like it, or they didn't like it as much as you thought they were going to like it, it is just so damaging to me. Like, I really am affected by it. I just really wish that the first time around I made more of an effort to be more disciplined and not be just consumed by every analytic that comes out. And the last thing that really affected me was comparing myself to others. And this one I think is the worst because it is such a toxic thing that you do to yourself. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. And I know logically that you shouldn't be comparing yourself to other people, but it is so hard not to. I don't know how other people are, but at least for me, I have a very bad habit of just looking at what everyone else has and thinking that I am inferior. It doesn't even matter in what way. Like, it could be the smallest thing. It could be, okay, well, that person puts out more videos, so I should be putting out more videos, or that person has slightly more views than me, so I need to work harder to have more views, or this person's just so naturally charismatic, like maybe I shouldn't be doing this because I'm not that charismatic. And I would just be a negative person to myself. So I would see that somebody hit, 500 or 1,000 subscribers, and I would be genuinely happy for them because that is amazing. But while I was happy for them, I was also just berating myself the whole time. Like, you'll never be good enough to reach that, and you're kidding yourself to think that you're part of this community, and just really negative thoughts. And I think also part of that comes from me trying to constantly watch and keep up with everyone else's channels. I felt like I had to be super engaged all the time. And, this connects back to Booktube taking over my life, but I just felt like I had to constantly know what everyone else was doing and comment on their videos and know where they stood and what books they were reading. And because I was so immersed in that, everything that I saw was ammunition for me to use against myself. And so basically all of those things combined just were building and building over the course of a few months until I just snapped and I walked away from everything and I was like, this isn't fun anymore. I am done. And I will say that it took me quite a while to feel like I didn't have to check the analytics, that I didn't have to watch other people's videos, that I wasn't this horrible failure because I was stressed and anxious and overwhelmed. But since I am in a much better place now and I am feeling excited again about my channel and the community and just reading in general, I've tried to come up with a few ground rules for myself to make sure that this does not happen again, or if it does, that I learn how to manage it. First and foremost, being open and honest with the people in my life. I think one of the biggest reasons that I fell so hard was that I am a very private person. I have a hard time opening up to people and being vulnerable and telling people how I'm actually feeling. So while all of this was happening, I just kept it very bottled up. I just felt like it was something that I had to work through myself, that no one else needed to be bothered with it. And so I didn't have anyone to go to for advice. So this time around, I've spoken to my wife, I've spoken to my sister, I let them know kind of what the issues were last time. And I'm hoping that they will be able to keep me accountable and keep me grounded. And the moments that I feel like I'm really slipping, hopefully I can go to them and talk it out before it reaches this like blow up. Next, I am going to create a manageable schedule for myself and I am going to stick with it. What that's going to mean for me is allocating time for all of the different aspects of my channel that overwhelmed me the last time around. This is going to be really difficult for me, but I think it is so, so important. And I think what this is kind of going to look like is telling myself, okay, I can look at the analytics on my channel and respond to comments at 8 p.m. Before that, you are not going to look at them. Or, okay, I can watch Booktube, but I can only allocate an hour to watching it. Little things that allow me to feel like there is a time and a place, and I have this time set aside to engage and to be part of the community and to make videos without feeling guilty about the other times in my life where I'm doing other things. But kind of like on the other side of this time around, I really need to be kinder to myself. You know, it's never going to be perfect. I'm never going to get to every single thing that I want to get to, and I can't let that ruin the whole experience. There is absolutely no point to doing any of this if it is not fun and enjoyable and rewarding. And so one thing that I'm going to be very diligent with myself this time around is not trying to keep up with what everyone else is doing and comparing what I am able to do with them. I have my own successes. I have my own things that I am proud of, and like those need to be enough. I need to be happy with what I have achieved on my own terms. So I think that I kind of ended up rambling a little bit there, but there was so much that I just felt like I needed to get off my chest, and so much that I regretted and I wanted to share with you guys, because I think that these things are universal. I think most people go through them and struggle with them. And if it's not these in particular, it's something else. And so I just really wanted to share where I was coming from. And hopefully this will help me stay a little bit accountable now that I've put it out there into the world. You guys know where I'm at and what I'm going to be working on behind the scenes. I hope that this video can help somebody feel like they're less alone in this like craziness that is Booktube. Let me know in the comments if any of you have struggled with any of these things, or if social media or Booktube have had a negative impact on your mental health. It always helps me to hear where other people are coming from. And if you have never had these struggles, like how do you stay sane? How do you manage it all? I want to know that as well. Anyway, again, thank you so much for watching and letting me vent to all of you. I will see all of you in my next video.